Alright, you guys, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today actually is a very special day because I have finally decided to do this series. I think I'm gonna call it Past Life because it's just some of my stories, of my personal stories and experiences from Ukraine. So my name is Svetlana and I actually grew up in Ukraine. I was in an orphanage, and this topic has been like the most difficult topic for me to talk about to anyone really, just because I feel like there's like, I don't know if it's very like accepting or whatnot. And I have been in US for the past 11 years, so it's been a while, and I honestly feel like it's like a perfect time for me to come out, I guess, and just have more courage to share more about my orphanage life, my transition here in US, and the things that I've learned. And I'm honestly so excited because I honestly get so mind blown that that life that I had when I was younger was me, and that I went through all of that. And looking to where I am today, I just really can't believe like it seems like it was just another girl living that life, but yet it has influenced so much of who I am today. And so I think it's so important to look at our history, and like, because it really does make who we are and it affects us. And so I'm really excited. I am so passionate about this. Again, it took me a lot of time and reflection and courage to finally just not make a big deal out of it and just do this for fun. Because I mean, I do have friends from Ukraine who are here with me, and we frankly just don't take the time to remember what it was like. And I think it would be such a great series and a channel where I can just like look back and just talk to you guys about it, because I mean, every time I open my mouth, people are like, where are you from? How did you get here? And it just gets too much. So, but over the years, I have accumulated a few things and questions that people ask me a lot. And so I actually have them on my phone, and I wanted to start this because I just can't put it off anymore. And so I wanted to talk to you about it today. And so today, one of the biggest questions that I get asked is like, moving here to US, what was like the biggest cultural shock, differences that you noticed? And so when I moved here, I was only 14, and so I mean, I did have a few years in Ukraine that I could remember still. And you guys, yes, there are definitely a lot of cultural differences in Ukraine versus United States. And so the very first thing I remember, my first night in America, so I was adopted, and we got home late at night, and it was that dinner time. And so my parents, for some reason, decided to feed us Chinese food. And now Ukraine is very bland. I mean, I grew up in an orphanage. We would eat like steamed food all the time, like steamed vegetables, steamed eggs, like steamed omelets. I mean, we would eat a lot of soups and a lot of potatoes. And it was just very bland now that I look back. And although I really enjoyed the food in Ukraine, in an orphanage setting, we did not get a lot of fried food like some people who live in a family setting would get. And so, so when I, that first night when we had Chinese food, and Chinese food is like, you know, like orange chicken, for example, is just so full of like sugar and very sweet, and it's just something that I've never had before. And so that was the very first big thing that I've noticed. And I know that Chinese food is most of the time is sweet. Also, just American food in general, like the shredded pork, barbecue pork, when I saw people making it, I have this dear friend who makes good food, and when I could not comprehend the amount of sugar that Americans eat, honestly, compared to Ukraine. And that was like a shock to me. I, like, for years hated like sweet meat. I could not comprehend, because for me, meat is savory, it's full of flavor, and it's not sweet. Meat is not supposed to be sweet. And so that was really hard for me. Like, for years I would not. Now I'm more open to it, and I really don't crave barbecue meats at all. Like, I can't. And so that was the biggest difference for me. Just any type of dishes that had sugar, it was really hard for me to get used to it, because that's something that we did not do in Ukraine at all. And so this leads me into my second cultural difference. Is the second day was a Sunday, and we went to church. And so once we were at church, I remember walking into one of the classrooms, and there was a lot of girls, and I mean, I did not speak English, like, at all. And so, first of all, I didn't understand anything that was happening, but I just remember going into this classroom, and all the girls were so happy. And a lot of these girls are my friends now, but so when I went in, they all started clapping. They were all so happy, big smiles. And I mean, in Ukraine, we do not show facial expressions. If we're just very, I think from like looking back and talking to people, like, we're just very straightforward. We don't smile if we don't have a reason to smile. And yeah, we just don't express feelings that much, I guess. And especially if you're ever like walking on the streets, you do not want to look at people. You don't yeah, you don't want to smile at them, because if anything, they will come after you. And that's something that, like, even I used to do. If I have like somebody looking at me, I would automatically be like, you have a problem with me? Like, come at me. Like, what is your problem? Why are you looking at me? Why are you smiling? And so we just, like, with the culture, have learned to keep our face straight. And so that was something really funny to me, you guys. I remember everyone was clapping, and I like just turned to my sisters who are also from Ukraine, and I just like laughed, because I was like, why are these girls laughing? Like, I thought they were crazy, because I've never seen people smile that much for no reason and be so happy. And I also have, so over the years, I was trying to comprehend this, like, why are people so happy? And like, my dad would you know, I wake up and I'm so grumpy, and my dad would always like say little things like would your face crack if you just smile a little bit? And I just remember that, because it was hard. I did not, yeah, I just looked mad all the time because we do not smile. And I was talking to my friends about this and from Ukraine, and they're like, same, they're like, I don't know why people are not coming, approaching me to be my friend. I don't know what is it about me that like scares them. Yeah, it's the face. And over the years I have learned to smile more. I have learned to wave to people and be friendly, but that was something that was hard. Like, we just did not do that in Ukraine. And that's another thing. And maybe it's just in the state where I'm at that people are like overly friendly and happy in general, that like just shocked me. But I also remember, like, I thought it was so fake. I was like, there's no, I don't believe it. I don't believe that a person could be so happy all the time, and it would get on my nerves that people like would smile all the time, and I would be like, you're fake, I can't deal with you. And so I have this dear friend Emily, and I love her, but no matter what time of the day, she always has a smile on her face, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get to know this girl, and I guarantee to you she's faking it. Like, there is no way she is this happy. And I did get to know her, and she is happy all the time. And I'm just like, of course everyone has their moments, of course, but in general people are happy here. And that's just something, I'm not saying people in Ukraine are not happy, but we just don't express it, and that was a big shock to me. And so that's something that I had to like adapt to and learn how to smile and be happy and friendly. And so that was another thing that was really shocking. Another thing that I've also struggled with culturally is like the fakeness. Not only was I thinking, okay, these people are fake because they're super happy and there's no way people could be happy this much. And so I remember being in high school, and you have to understand, like in Ukraine, in an orphanage settings, we are for the most part treated all the same. We have the same rules, we act the same, and we kind of look the same because, you know, we just don't really care. We're just like a bunch of kids who, you know, have the same means, like. And so when I came to America and I saw, I'm talking about girls because that I just focused on girls because I'm a girl, and so I had more tendencies of comparing myself to girls. And I just saw a lot of girls, and maybe this was a trend because I don't know, I don't see as much, but it was really hard for me to like see girls who would have a fake tan, so there would be like orange. And
Harvey, for the love of God, stop tanning. You look like a cheese nut. You look like an orange with lips. You look like a wrinkled peach.
And long blonde hair that was, you could tell it's fake. That they would dye their hair, and I'm like, you're not a blonde. Why do you want to be a blonde? Why are you faking it? Why are you look like, I'm sorry, you look like an orange. And I think maybe I was just very, you know, I was 14, so maybe I had a lot of judging tendencies, I don't know, but I was like, why are you so fake? And I mean, I think it's because I personally never wore makeup, still don't really. I grew up in a setting where we had greasy hair every day. We didn't like, personal hygiene was very important to us, but we didn't have the means to shower every day. and so like physically wash her hair every day. And so I just got used to like seeing people with greasy hair, and it was just kind of accepting, and it was kind of, we didn't care because everyone was the same. But then I came to America and everyone, you know, I was just mind blown by how much time girls spent, you know, time getting their makeup on in the morning, having a perfect hair, having the best clothes, and something that I've never known in my life. And so it was very shocking to me, and it was just something that I like compared myself to. So in Ukraine, and I'm sure other, you know, European places, we did not have like really an easier way of transportation. So like when I came here, it was very evident to me that everyone and their kids owned cars. Like 15-year-olds, you know, would drive cars to school. And I grew up, everywhere we went, we walked on our feet. You want to go to, you know, the mall, the mall. We don't really have malls in Ukraine, it's just markets. But you walk there. You want to go play, you walk there. You want to go to school, you walk to school. You want to go, you know, to the cafeteria, you walk. And I just got so accustomed to walking everywhere. Literally, we would go on walks for fun with my friends. We had something we wanted to talk about, we would go on a walk. And when I got here, and everything that we did was driving there, and that was so hard for me, honestly. That first 2 years I could not figure out like why I wasn't feeling myself, and it was a lot because I just felt enclosed in this house where I wanted to go, you know, outside. I really couldn't because I was like, nobody really walks here, and like long distances also. And so like in the neighborhood, it's like one thing, yeah, you go for a walk, whatever. But even I just didn't feel comfortable getting out and walking to places. And because everywhere we had to go, we just like hop in the car and go. And it was hard for me, like realizing how much of my time I spent walking in Ukraine compared to here, always taking a car. And it was hard not being that active anymore. And I just really felt as a teenager, I was enclosed in my house, and like I went from like this place where the orphanage setting where it was big and we could walk everywhere and we had all of this freedom, to you know, a place where I did not feel like I could leave my house and go walk. And yeah, it was just hard. Which leads me into my last biggest cultural difference that I've noticed and that I actually have struggled with, because as a teenager coming to a new country, I did feel like, of course, I wanted to have connections with people, I wanted friends, I wanted to be included. And not only did I not speak the language to have the means to express who I was as a person, what I liked, what I, you know, where I came from, to make connections with friends was really hard. But I've noticed the times that I did start talking to people, and I guess maybe it's because I came from like a hard, you know, lifestyle where I was an orphan and was never given anything, you know, like I just really didn't have a lot. And so like hanging out with friends here in US, I had a hard time connecting with people, because for people to hang out here is like a good example, I would say. Like we would go bowling, and yeah, so we went bowling, we had a great time. But for me, I was always looking for connections, right? Looking like, what have we accomplished through this activity that we have just done? Like, did I really get to know you? Did I really know who you are as a person? And I don't even know if this makes sense, but I just felt like maybe empty because I could not connect with people, because I have come from this environment where there was hardship, there was people who understood me, we were all in the same place, and so we could connect. But then I came to a place where really kids were, for the most part, given everything they had, and they never really had to, I don't really want to say sacrifice, because I know everyone has hardships in their lives, but I just couldn't quite connect, because to me it seemed, again, fake. It just seemed like we did something, but like, what exactly did we accomplish? How did we really connect? And I looked for connections, and I struggled with making connections with people. And I'm not saying that I just don't know. It was just such a strange time. And maybe these, you know, I was a teenager, and maybe these teenagers, they didn't really know who they were also as people, and so they didn't earn for greater meaning, greater purpose in life, because they were just all about playing, where I was just looking for connections, and it was just hard. But yeah, I know that culture is like so beautiful, and it just so much more than like maybe what I talked about today, but I just kind of have a twist on it, the way I look at it, coming from an orphanage setting in Ukraine with a different culture to a family setting in US, and just some transitions that I've seen that I have reflected on. Anyways, I love America. I am very grateful to be here. I'm grateful for my past as well, and I'm just excited to share this with you guys, and I hope this gives you perspective. I hope this is interesting. I think that it's very unique, and for the longest time it took me time to like truly embrace that. And so yes, I will be spending more time talking, because I honestly, when I think back about Ukraine, I'm like, I have so much to tell. It was surely a beautiful, beautiful experience, even though, you know, growing up in an orphanage is kind of crazy, but honestly, it was beautiful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys. And please subscribe if you want to see any more of my videos. I will be opening up more, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.